How to cold call in 2025. What is up, guys? Zach in here. And in today's video, I'm giving you my complete breakdown on how to cold call motivated sellers. Now, I'm telling you, what you have been told about cold calling is probably a lie. It's probably a myth. It's probably overdone. And it's probably like all these crazy people talking about cold calling. I'm going to give you the dang truth right now. If you want to get a wholesaling real estate deal in 2025 and you have no money at all, this is what you need to do. If you have some money and you want to get a deal as fast, you got 50 bucks, 100 bucks, you want to get a deal as fast as humanly possible. That's what you have to do. You live outside the United States. You live in a saturated market. This is what you have to do. Cold calling is the number one way to get a wholesaling real estate deal in 2025. Now, I know you might be like, well, actually, Zach, I don't want to hear what everyone has to say. I've been throwing a lot of things about how cold calling's dead and all these things. And, you know, I'll give one example because we're talking about 2025, right? Everyone has told me for years, for 8 years now, cold calling is dead. And the funniest thing about it is cold calling always goes full circle, right? Everyone says cold calling's dead. And then it's like, oh, it's back. Now it's dead. It's back. And it's always funny how it works. But everyone has told me for the past like couple of years that SEO and PPC and PPL is like, oh, that's what you have to do now. And you can't do it. And I always said, well, FYI, SEO is great. PPC is great. PPL is okay, but they're all going to double their prices. Because if you let all the wholesalers start using it, all the prices are going to double. And guess what happened? All the prices tripled. And now all the PPL companies guess what they're doing? They're cold calling. That's right. And so I kind of had to make this video as an emergency because all of these PPL companies that are selling you $500, $600 leads, they're getting leads for $20, $25 and selling you for $500, $600. And they're not doing SEO anymore. They're not doing PPC anymore. They're pretty much exclusively, for the 80% from what I've seen, is all cold calling. Because you cannot get insane, amazing wholesaling deals for really, really cheap outside of cold calling. And when you're broke, there's no other option. So I'm here to share with you exactly how to do the greatest marketing strategy of 2025, which is cold calling. So let's break this all down and let's share exactly how to start cold calling in 2025. So this is my ultimate guide. Again, on the bottom right-hand screen, you're going to see something called freewholesaling.com. That's my free wholesaling course, my free wholesaling community. And it is completely free. I don't charge for any of this information, and I'm just giving it all absolutely for free today. So let's talk about cold calling right now. Exactly how to getting forward in 2025. Now, I want everyone to comment. We are live. So I want everyone to comment, what market are you in? I would love to see what market you're in. Everyone can please go network, talk, and see what's going on. Let's get calling, guys. So I'm excited here. Let's get going. Let me tell this is live. So cold calling is the art of reaching out to people and talking to them and seeing if they're looking for a cash offer on their property. That is it. There's no closing with cold calling. I want everyone to understand this. There's no closing with cold calling. Cold calling is not closing. You're not closing cold call at all. Zillows are kind of warm, so maybe FSBOs, we'll talk about a different area of that. But this is what cold calling is. You see if someone's looking to sell or not. Now, the cool part about this is that kind of puts half the pressure away from you guys, because a lot of people have this pressure inside of them that they have to close the seller on the call. And no, you're not closing anybody on this call. You're just seeing if they're looking to sell the property. That is it. So again, cold calling is 4 simple steps. There's only 4 ways to start cold calling. Step 1, pull a list. That's pretty much it. Get a list of a motivated seller. Get that information. Now you got that. Then you're going to skip trace the list. Then you're going to get their phone number. Step 3, then we're going to call them. And then we're going to put all the yeses in the CRM. I wish I can give you a more complicated system. I wish I can go crazy on here. I wish I could just, you actually, is this crazy CRM drop bucket drip can't, no. All right. Again, you pull a list, you skip trace the list, you cold call the list, and then you put all the yeses in the CRM. That is cold calling 101. That's how you do it. Now, before we get started cold calling, there's a couple things we have to just understand and know. Number one, we have to know what type of lead we are pulling. So we have to know, hey, what before we start calling, obviously, it's like, okay, what list are we going to pull and call? We have to decide that and understand that first. We got to know how much time we are planning to call a week. Very important, because if you're only looking to call 5 or 6 hours a week, it's going to be different than if you have 30 or 40. Next here, we got to know what script you're using, obviously for Wholesaling.com. I'm going to give you the whole script today. So it's going to be in the slide. I have it all prepared for you. But what script are you going to be using? Very important here. And then obviously, this is really for the confidence part or just feeling like we actually know what we're doing here. But you have to know, first and foremost, what your objections are and how to overcome them. It's very important to know this. And again, did you create the action plan? It's very important to have that action plan. Now, what are lead lists to pull and call? Number one, by far, again, I am a broken record with this. You're going to hear me say it time and time again. The thing is, there's probably 15,000 of these type of leads in your surrounding markets. So there's just too much for you even to pull if you want to do it all yourself, is government lists. The reason why I love government lists so much is even if you wanted, for most people, right? Even if you wanted to call every single government list possible, you actually can't. That's why government lists work so well. Even if you wanted to pull and cold call every single government list in your market for the month, you probably can't even get that much. There's just too many for you to call. You cannot actually make enough dials for most people. If you're a triple line dialer and multiple employees, yeah, you can get through it. But for most people watching this, it's too much. Like honestly, like it's way too much for you to call. So just understand that too. Next, again, I absolutely love the vacant list. I think for anybody calling, the vacant list is one of the best ones. No one's in the house. So there's a lot of motivation to want to sell the property and get rid of it. So I absolutely love the vacant list. We go to X Leads, go pull that list and be all in there. Pretty easy and simple. Next, again, high equities. High equities, if you do a lot of them, right? So like if you're willing to call more than 10,000 people, you should definitely start considering the high equities. Now, I would consider about 55% or more equity. So 45% on the LTV on the max side on xleads.com. We're doing an update on there, but I'd say about the 60, 55, maybe 60%. You want to make sure, again, go to Wholesaling.com. I share all of our filters in there. We're getting some cool XLeads updates to make it easy in there. But like, I don't care, even if you, whatever software you use, they're all going to be great too. We're talking about other softwares here too in Wholesaling.com if you want it. But like, for example, again, 55% equity. I like that. I like 3 years minimum ownership, right? I actually love it if it's under the median home price. You know, there's a lot of filters on here you want to look at, but I'm telling you right now that like just using very, very niched out filters for the high equity, if you're willing to do a lot of calls, is going to work well. Drawing for dollars, I mean, it is hands down one of the best ones. I mean, all you have to do is just drive around, look for ugly houses. It's so simple. Drive around, look for an ugly house, call that list. You're going to get a lot of deals. Drawing for dollars works. Again, tired landlords is another really good list. Tired landlords are different than a government list, right? So an eviction list is going to be a government list. The tired landlord list is somebody who's a landlord that's owned the property for a while. That works really well too. But it is a very separate list, and we have to understand that first and foremost, okay? And next here is Zillow FSBOs. I like FSBOs. The thing about them is you're going to run out of them really quick. So it's not going to be a thing where I'm going to be a nationwide FSBO guy. And this is all for your like your actual like personal market. This is not going to be you're trying to do this nationwide. You're not going to pull high equity nationwide. And I mean, you're going to have millions to call every single day pretty much. No, not a good idea. Not a good idea. Even if you use the most niched out filters, like 5, 6 markets at most, maybe, right? So what type of government lists can we pull? This one's pretty simple, right? There's really like 10 at most you should be pulling. But for cold calling specifically, code violations is one of my favorite lists to call. There might be 300, 400 for the month at most. So maybe 100 a week. It's really, really easy just to get that list, Skiptracing, call it, boom, get a lot of deals doing that. Probates, again, one of the easiest lists if you have a real motivated seller to make a fat assignment deal. Absolutely love probates. So I do recommend everyone hold a probate list. Next, tax delinquencies, maybe someone on a tax lien list, credit card debt lien list, IRS debt lien list. So someone not paying the property, there's a lien put on the property, somebody not paying their credit cards. This is very, very underrated. I don't think really many people know about this outside of this YouTube channel, but we pull a list of people who are not paying their credit cards. Come on. It's easy. And then the IRS debt lien list, people not paying their federal taxes. Now, you could put the state debt lien for not paying the state taxes, but IRS is a lot more aggressive. And then the water shutoffs, absolutely love the water shutoff list. Again, if the water's not running in the house, probably don't want to live there. Probably not a fun place to be. Fire damage properties, contrary to popular belief, most properties that go on fire aren't burned to a crisp, right? TV shows and movies make it seem like that's the real thing, but it's really not. And most house fires are happening in the kitchen or they're happening in a bathroom. And it's very partial. Again, our fire department's actually amazing in the United States. If there's it's a science now for most firefighters, they'll go in there and they'll get rid of the problem. And it's partial fires. So it's much as damage at a house. I really glad they get their insurance checks, right? So how do you pull the government list? Again, if you go to freewholesaling.com, are we confused? Freewholesaling.com, we go there. And this is going to be a master list that I've compiled only for the students in freewholesaling.com. Here's the cool part. You are able to be inside of freewholesaling.com absolutely for free. And everyone's invited. And I have a master list of all the government lists in these markets. You see the whole red dots. Just go to freewholesaling.com and you'll be able to access all that stuff in the community and in the course. And you'll be able to pull code violations, probates, pre-foreclosures, fire damage properties, tax delinquencies. All the above, pre-probates too. And I never wanted to give that out because I didn't want to make government lists saturated, but more and more of these softwares were coming out and they were basically charging you $50, $60, $70 for 20 code violation leads. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to give this all out for free. I got to help the people out. And so I kind of broke the internet doing this, but still available. It's updated on a daily basis and it's pretty cool. Now we got our lists. We generally, before we start doing some more things, right, we have to create an action plan. We really have to create this action plan here. Okay. So we have to have two types of budgets. Number one, we have to create a time budget. Now, everyone thinks about budgets, they think about money budgets, but time budgets are equally as important and equally as valuable. And what I mean by this is, there we go. What I mean by this is your time is going to be obviously your most valuable asset. And so you have to know exactly how to go utilize your time correctly. There you go. And what I mean by this is you have to budget out for the week how much you're going to spend on your grocery bill, usually, right? And you got to budget how much you're going to call. So you got to know, okay, well, I'm going to cold call 10 hours this week. Well, okay. Well, 10 hours. All right. Is it 10 hours on Monday, Wednesday? So a lot of people want to create their plans and they ask me Zach, what's the best plan or guide for me? And what I'll tell you is the best time plans are always ones that are spread out during the best times. So I have personally done this. If you're going to write this down, if you're brand new to cold calling, this is important. But the best possible to cold call are between 5 to 7 p.m. This is what I call the golden hour. Now, if you want to know the best hours in general, 2 to 7 p.m. are the best times to cold call. Now, is it not part? It's part of my story, but I got my start cold calling by cold calling my college dorm room from 2 to 7 p.m. So I cold called 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for an entire year straight. And I made a lot of money cold. That was my thing. And at that point, then I got VAs and it just went crazy. But it's really, really, really difficult for me to find people who do that and not become successful. And you gotta remember, I was pulling government lists like 7 years ago. Like there's been, and I know this is like shooting fish in a barrel, but it's true. I was cold calling in my dorm room in a time when there was pretty much no videos on YouTube about probates, pre-foreclosures, code violations, fire damage properties, water shutoffs, tax liens, tax delinquencies, no free info on wholesaling. And it was beautiful. I don't know what other way, like it was truly a blessing. But the thing was, I was the only person doing that. And if I decided to myself that I wanted to hoard that information and keep it to myself, nobody in wholesaling would know about this stuff. Nobody in wholesaling would know about any of these things. But I decided to give it to you guys absolutely for free. So take advantage of this because our following is going to double in the next, 3, 4, 5 years. And we're just going to have double the amount of wholesalers doing this list. So like, this is the time to be calling. There's going to be double the amount of people calling in a couple of years. So I'm telling everyone, call now. Like now. Stay calm. So time 5 to 7 p.m. I found is the best time to call to get the most pickups, the most success, and all these things. And more specifically, so if you have 10 hours, I would say Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. is just as good as cold calling from 10 to 2. Like it's actually, to cold call from 5 to 7 is like cold calling double. So it's like, like Call of Duty, you had like double XP weekends. Those are the best in middle school, man. Oh, get the Prestige 7 in Black Ops. But good days. I missed a rise. But okay. What I mean by this is it's just double your success. And so if you can do 2 hours of work, you can really do 4 hours of cold calling in 2 hours if you did it during the right times. So it's not all about how well you do. Like it's about, sometimes it's just about the time you put in and doing the right time. So time budgets are important than money budgets, obviously. The cool part about money budget issues is if you have no money, you can obviously call for free and you're Gucci. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, you don't need any money, but you should, if you have no money, still write a $0 budget. Because then if you have 5, 10, 15, $100 to put into marketing for the month, then at least you know what to do and you already have all the systems already in place for this, for your calling. So create a time budget, then go out here and create a money budget. Now, what are the best dialers to use in wholesaling real estate? Well, I have a rule for everybody. You must use a dialer. Now, this is contrary to anybody else's advice in wholesaling real estate. The reason is, and I really want everyone to understand this, the reason is when you hear dialer, it's always someone pitching you to pay money. That's what everyone says. Okay, here's the dialer, use my link. And yes, most people should be paying for a dialer if you have the budget for it. But you don't really need, I hope you don't really need to pay money for a dialer. You should be using at least a free dialer because you're going to use your regular cell phone, which I think is pretty stupid. So I want everyone to know you have to use a dialer. Don't think you get away and just call on your phone. You have to use a dialer. This is essential. You have to. All right. And I give everyone the plug if you have no money. So let's talk about the free one, obviously, first, right? So Google Voice is absolutely my favorite. It is the best one if you have no money. It's my favorite free one. You got no money, use this dialer, Google Voice. It is the best one. You just click, call, you get a free phone number, you're good to go. If you're international, get a VPN, you'll be good to go. You can't beat it. I'm telling everyone right now, you cannot beat this dialer. It is the best dialer, hands down, with no money at all. And it's so easy. If you're watching this on YouTube, which I think you guys all are, you have a Google account. So you have a Google Voice account. Pretty simple. Now, if you want to get something that's a little easier, right? So for example, you'll probably get 20, 25 calls in an hour if you're like a beast on Google Voice, like copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy. It's a lot of work, but copy, paste, copy, paste. You could probably get 50 to 60 on a auto dialer, but again, it's a lot easier. And then you probably get to 75, 80 on a triple line, but you're getting a lot more calls, right? So again, I would tell everyone when to want to step up from a free dialer, you should go get a cheap auto dialer. Now, as of this recording, there's only one cheap auto dialer available in the wholesaling space, and that's X Leads Ninja Mode. And what I mean by like cheap auto dialer, like I'm talking like, actually, I'm very curious, guys, how much is an auto dialer? If you have like a one-line dial, like how much is an auto dialer to you guys? Like how much does it cost? Like you upload a list, you can dial it, you can do whatever you want in it. Like how much is a dialer for most people? I'm curious. If you're paid for a dialer, please drop it in the comments. I'd love to know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'd love to know how much people are paying for dialers, right? I think most people are saying, like 150 a month, 100 a month, stuff like that, right? That's the average cost of most of these dialers, $99. I mean, if you use Google Voice, yeah, it's free, right? So a lot of people have these type of dialers, right? So I mean, like cheap dialers, like you can go call 25, 30 hours in the week, and you'll probably be close to like 30, 40 bucks for the dialer, including phone numbers, right? That's what I consider a cheap auto dialer. Most people charge you $99 for unlimited, but you don't really use it that much. And so that's why a cheap auto dialer is going to be a really good idea. That's what I tell everyone to do. Now, if you want to go crazy, if you want like an unlimited cheap auto dialer, I think the Ninja Mode has an unlimited option at like $99 a month, which is pretty good, but you can pay as you go. So if you're calling less than 130 hours in a month, it's pretty, I mean, you're not going to beat it. And you got to remember this too, that like when you pay per minute, it's when someone picks up the phone. It's not just dial, which makes it like 30, 40 bucks a month. So you can do a cheap auto dialer. They are 30, 40 bucks a month now, which is cool. Or you can use a triple line dialer, which is pretty much going to be the same ever. Most triple line dialers, I think, are 130, 140, 150. So I recommend everyone to use the X Leads Wave dialer on Ninja Mode. Now, there's a reason why. I'm going to tell you in the end here why I recommend you use, if you're going to go a triple line dialer, you can use the Wave dialer versus anything else, because the cheap auto dialer and the triple line dialer, if you stay within X Leads, you can do something that's pretty dang cool. So we'll show you. I'll show you how it all works. But hint, 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 it's you can double your contact rate using X Leads versus anything else. That's why I use X Leads for everything. Some other great alternatives too. You don't have to use X Leads for everything, but yeah, it's pretty dang good. Now, let's talk about our steps, right? Again, step number 1, freewholesaling.com. If you want to go out here and get a list, go to freewholesaling.com. Just learn how to call. Learn how to do all these things. Watch recordings of me doing all this. It's great, right? But one thing I'll tell you is freewholesaling.com will show you how to pull out the lists. Simple as that. Again, I've talked about freewholesaling.com for how many times here? Guys, come on. It's all free. It's all easy. Now you got to skip trace the list. Now, if you got no money, there are 3 ways to find somebody's phone number absolutely for free. Step 1, truepeoplesearch.com. That is the GOAT. That is the OG free skip tracing site. Absolutely love it. You can go and get the phone numbers absolutely for free. Next year, this is probably the scariest website I've ever encountered in my life. It's called Cyber Background Checks. I only knew about cyber background checks. I want everyone to know, how did I find out about this website? People started cold calling me. Guys, I'm really good at data. I make sure nobody has my phone number because I don't want it public. Most people get their phone numbers publicly. What I found is people started cold calling me and text me, hey, Zach. I'm like, why am I getting 300 texts a day? And what I picked up the phone once. I'm like, dude, how do you get my phone number? And they always say, well, can I spend an hour of your time and ask you a question? I'm like, bro, come on. I'm at the gym. I'm not going to spend an hour answering your questions here. But basically, he said, well, I found your website on cyberbackgroundchecks.com. I said, yeah, right. True Bill searches on my phone. I pop it up. Cyber Background Checks had my address, my past 3 addresses, all my rental all like everywhere where I used to have a rental when I was a teenager, like all these things. And it also had some of my rental properties. I'm like, bro, what? And it was really scary. I put Rick's info in it, all of his stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so we got all of our info removed from Cyber Background. By the way, you can go to Cyber Background Checks and actually go to the bottom. It says remove your data. It'll remove your data. It's really, really scary. And then go use it. I promise you can look up literally anybody and their info's on there unless they removed it, which you should definitely remove your data on there. But it's scary good. Cyber Background Checks, absolutely amazing. Now, the only issue with that is you got to copy the address and paste it in there, but it's pretty cool. Now, the last part is if you can't get anybody's phone like numbers or their data or their information, right? You can basically DM these sellers. Now, if you have a really good probate deal and you just can't get in hold of anybody, right? You can't find them on True People Search, cyber background checks. You can just go on Facebook and DM them. I know that sounds creepy and crazy, but you just do it. And half the time it works. So I like it. Now for paid skip tracing, it's pretty obvious. I mean, for $49 a month on the annual plan on X Leads, you get 15,000 skip traces a month, free included, and highest quality. You just upload a list, boom, skip trace done. I mean, is there any more to talk about? Like, there's not one cheaper. So that's pretty much it. xleads.com if you want to pay for skip tracing. I know some guys that pay 10, 12 cents. It's absolutely insane to me. So $49 a month includes everything, comping data, Ninja Mode, CRM, all like it's all in there. Obviously, everyone knows this. So I'm wearing an XLeads hat. Obviously, we know that, right? So duh, $49 a month. Just get everyone the plug on there. Good to go. No codes, nothing. Just boom, done. Now, step 3. We got info. We got skip trace. We're good to go. Again, you can pull a government list and import it into XLeads to skip trace, or go inside of XLeads and pull list, right? I'm not really going to waste time doing that. We got plenty of info. There's an XLeads course on how to learn how to use the software in freewholesaling.com. Pretty simple. But again, now we're getting the juicy part. Now we're getting the fun stuff. Calling sellers and getting deals and getting money. That's what we like to hear. This is the exciting stuff. So cold calling our lists. Let me give everybody my $1 million cold calling script. Now it's actually my multi-million dollar cold calling script, and it is a script that I use to make multi millions of dollars every single year. And even better, it's the script that you guys use to make millions of dollars a year. There's not one wholesaling script. Let me say this again. There's not one script in wholesaling real estate that has produced more deals in cold calling than the script I'm about to give to you. You could say whatever you want about me. You could say, well, actually, this is not the great script. I get it all the time from everybody. Most of the haters that sell a course on cold calling, but I don't want to get into that right now. There is not one script in the wholesale game that has produced more deals in cold calling than this cold call script. There's not one. You can try to name whoever you want. This one guy like a month ago said, "Oh, I think this guy might have as much testimonials as you." I'm like, bro, are you serious? I have more testimonials than this person has followers, but we ain't going to get into that. So this script has produced the most deals, the most success, and just the most money than anyone else. And the reason why I'm hyping up for this script is a lot of people are like, give me the script, give me the script, give it. The reason why I'm telling you this is we have to really understand that this script has made people more money than anywhere else. The reason is, and I always hype this up before I give it, is because, number one, it's really easy and it's really simple. You might see the script and be like, too simple. I don't like, no, I don't like, it needs to be more advanced. It's so simple, I can hand this off to a VA and turn it into a crazy system. It is so advanced that a complete beginner who sucks at cold calling can get a deal from using the script. That's the reason why it's so simple. A complete beginner who is terrible at talking to a seller or who has zero confidence can still use the script and get deals. This is why the script works so well. It's because the expert can use it and get deals because he doesn't waste his time. It's so simple that you just call. If they're not interested, boom, you go to the next call. Then you get in front of more people. Remember, Bill Gates has one of the best quotes for building, we're the richest men in the world. He said, simplicity scales, complexity fails. Let me say that one more time. Simplicity scales, complexity fails. So this is a script where if you want to call as many people as possible and just get in front of the most motivated sellers, this script works. If you're a complete beginner, this works. If you have a thick accent, this script is the easiest one to get through. So let's talk about it. And you guys are going to roll your eyes. This is too simple. It's simple on purpose because I have spent 8 years developing this script. I've used more scripts than you can even imagine. And this is the one that always produces the most calls per hour, the most deals. And I'm talking about deals per hour of calling This is the best KPIs out of anything else I've ever done. So let's talk about this. My $1 million script. So we start out by asking this question. Is this the owner of 123 Main Avenue? Now, the reason why we start with this is it's a science of why I'm doing this. The reason why we start the call of is this the owner is we're trying to punch the owner in the mouth. You got to remember this. And I say this a lot, but it's absolutely true. Your motivated seller, when you call them, you're probably calling from 5 to 7. You're probably calling them 6 o'clock. They are sitting on their couch, most of them. Hold on, let me get chilled out. They're relaxing. They're watching their TV. They did a hard day of work. And ring, 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 ring. Hello? Now, you got to remember this. When your seller picks up the phone, they don't do that. Hello? No. Most sellers, when you call them at 5 or 6, this is what they do. They're watching their football game. Like, yeah. Roll Tide. Right? They're watching it. Who is calling me? I'm watching my game. Oh my God. Let me just get the... Hello? And instantly when they pick up the phone, their first thought is, how do I get this guy off the phone? I want to watch my Alabama Crimson Tide lose again because they suck. Come on. Okay. So, you got a Gators helmet. Come on. But like, it's like, okay. They want to get off that phone as soon as humanly possible. Because first of all, you're not on their contacts list. So this again is an unknown number. First of all, I think scam first and foremost. That's what the seller thinks. They think scam 101. So they get to scam. They don't know who it is. It might be a doctor. It might be a medical. So they're obviously going to answer it. But they're automatically assuming you're a scammer or a spammer. So they want to get off that phone as soon as possible. Now, they're only picking up that phone because maybe it is one or two things. Number one, maybe it's the police department because their son got arrested. Number two, maybe it is work calling them. Maybe it's work. Maybe there's an emergency at work. They don't want to answer it. Number three, maybe it's their long-lost lover, Sheila, from high school, who has now decided that, now I want you 50 years later. So that's why they pick up the phone. There's always mystery to it, right? Who could this be? And if you call them and say, hello, this is Zach Home Solutions, and we're seeing if you're looking to sell your property, automatically, back to my Bama. And that's how it is. For most males over the age of 34, that is how most of those phone calls will go. Okay? At 5 o'clock. Now, if it's a female, I can make fun of guys. Gals, I'm not really going to make fun of them because sometimes they'll be doing important stuff. So it's like, I don't know. But usually maybe they're watching the Kardashians or something like that, whatever Kylie and the girls are up to, and they're watching it. They're like, I'm watching my show. Who is picking up this dang phone? Scam, spam, galore is going on right there, right? They have less mystery and they pick up the phone. But, I found a lot of females, right, especially moms, they will always pick up a random phone number because, like, maybe it's the school calling them about an emergency or something like that, right? So they're always going to pick up the phone, right? And if you call being a weird scammer, you're going to get nothing. But with a guy or gal, if you pick up the phone and the first sentence you say is this the owner of this property? It's like, oh my gosh, is it a vandalism? What's going on? What could happen? Did someone drive a car to my house? It's like, whoa, what could happen? Is this the mortgage company? Is there a problem at the bank? Like, you know what I mean? And now they're going from scam to, Number two, when somebody picks up the phone for a cold call, they're automatically in what I call the no mode. Okay, let's say that again out loud. They're in a no mode. When someone picks up an unknown call, it's no, get off the phone, done, right? Get off the phone. That's when most people are like this when it comes to picking up an unknown caller. Did you know, I've read a lot of these books. Some of these are really good psychology books. And one of my favorite lessons in psychology is basically you can precondition somebody to say yes to something. It's actually funny, right? It's like, it's so funny, but like, if you ask like, okay, hey, what if a red man lives in the red house and a green man lives in the green house and a blue man lives in a blue house, who lives in the White House? And they say, oh, a white man lives in the White House. And it's like, no, the president lives in the White House. Because you're automatically, you're preconditioning your mind to say purple man lives in purple house, green man lives in green house, right? And you do all these things, right? And it's so funny. That's probably a bad example, but like, that's how psychology works, is if you precondition somebody to want something, right, they're going to say that, right? And the funniest thing about you've played these like child games, right? And so if you precondition somebody to say yes to something 6 times, then on the 7th question, they are like 70% more likely to say yes. Okay. What I mean by this is if you say, do you like, it's like, do you like pizza? Yes. Do you like fun? Yes. Do you like football? Yes. Will you help me watch my kids over the weekend? Yes. And I know that's not a yes, but like if you ask, just really think about this, okay? Okay. Really think about this. If you ask somebody for $100 for Boy Scout cookie, Girl Scout cookies, if you ask them 5 questions, do you want to support Girl Scouts? Yes. Do you love yummy food? Yes. Will you buy $100 of Girl Scout cookies? Now, the answer might be no, but if you say yes, 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 and then the question comes up, guess what? You're 70% more likely to say yes. And this is the whole concept of my script, okay? Is you want to condition the seller to be in a yes mode, not a no mode. So if you go out here and say, are you the owner of the property? You are automatically saying, yes, I am the owner of the house. Now you're going to ask them another question. Now they're not no mode. Then you're going to ask them, hey, this is Zach, and I had a quick question. Are you interested in selling that property? Done. Simple. Easy as that. And now they could say no or not interested. But here's the thing. When you ask them that question, you're asking this question in an open mindset. They are automatically not thinking you're a scam. They are already in a yes mode. And so if they already are somewhat conditioned or thinking about selling the property, they might start thinking about it. And this is exactly what Bill said. Yes, it's called the pattern interrupt. You've interrupted their day. You've interrupted their thinking patterns. This is very, very high level stuff, but it seems super, super, super simple. But they might, well, possibly. And then boom, you're done. You got the deal. And so it's very important that you do it like this. It's a very, very, very advanced thing in the back end, but you're just getting them off that no mode, right? And so that's how it works. Now, again, the script is simple. Is this the owner of 123 Main Avenue? They say no, then we don't have to go further. Then you got the wrong number or something. No big deal. And then you ask them, hey, this is Zach. And I had a quick question. Are you thinking about selling the property? Are you interested in selling the house? Simple as that. Now you're going to get at some crazy questions and we're going to talk about it. But like one example is like, you have to know how to answer some objections. And we have them all written out in Frozen.com. I'm going to show you all today. But like one of the big objections is like, well, I don't know if I want to sell the house. That's easy. What I like to say is, well, were you consider selling the property? Were you thinking about selling the property before I even called you? Yeah, I was. Okay, you're interested. Done. Easy, right? So that's my $1 million cold calling script. Now, that's the first part of it. Again, we have to know the objections. The thing is, you could sound like a slick guy or gal on the phone doing well, but if you get an objection you cannot answer, you're done. You're cooked. It's over. And the thing is, most people don't sound confident, or they don't have that like they don't have that like it factor because they don't know how to answer objections correctly. So let me show you how we answer objections correctly here. So again, the first most common objection. You know, I would sell my house, but where would I move to? Guys, if you cold call a lot, you get this sometimes. And That thing gets under my skin. I don't know why it gets under my skin. I think because I feel like I'm wasting time. But that thing gets under my skin so dang hard. And the way I answer it always is I say, well, Mr. Seller, when people sell their house, they usually get hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they use that money to go buy other houses or they go rent something out. So where you move to, I mean, it's up to you. I think Pensacola is a nice area. I mean, it's kind of a personal question, though, if you ask me. And I kind of throw it back at them like, well, I'm not your spouse and I don't know you too well. So I don't know exactly if you're looking for a more laid back community, a beachside community. That's up to you, really. And I kind of throw it back at them because they're asking a question that they need. It's a personal question, right? Now, you're going to get this objection a lot too. Who is this and what do you want? Now, it's never like that. It's like, oh, who is this and what do you want? It's always, who is this? What do you want? And I always repeat myself with this because it's the best analogy for it. But I used to do a lot of cold calling in Florida, and Florida it's called Little New York, basically. And everyone from New York decides to move to Florida, and I don't know why. It's absolutely insane. And the funniest thing about it is okay, so I'm not going to generalize New Yorkers, but I'm going to generalize New Yorkers. Most people from New York are sometimes considered rude and obnoxious in the way that they're directed towards people when they don't know them or like them. That's just it's a true statement. Most New Yorkers, if they don't know you or like you, they're pretty abrasive. Now, New Yorkers that know you and like you or get to know you for a little bit, they're some of the sweetest, nicest, most loyal, awesome, funniest people in the entire world when they know you, right? My friends who are New Yorkers are absolutely the best. But sometimes they get a little feisty. They tie the Timberlands too tight, the Yankee caps too tight on their hat. They're a little crazy. And so, for example, is a lot of people from Bronx, Brooklyn, they usually I call them up and they're like, hey, is this the owner of the property? You're interested in selling it? And then they say, who is this? What do you want? And they're not a mean person. It's just kind of how they are. And, you got to know how to answer because the first time someone like aggressive like that calls you, you're going to be kind of thrown off. Okay. I'll be honest. You're going to get thrown off when someone's super like aggressive. Like, give me an offer. What do you want? It's like, whoa, bro, chill out. But the thing is, you just got to calmly know exactly how to speak to it. And you kind of, I don't want to say you have to have it memorized. Maybe have a sheet of paper near you or like have it typed up next to you. But like, you're going to have to answer it pretty good and easy and quick. So for example, someone's like, who are you? Like, hey, my name's Zach and me and my partner are looking to buy a couple of properties in the area for cash. Now, I've done this a lot. This is a piece of cake for me, but it's true. Literally Edwin just said it before I even said, hey, this is Zach. Zach, my partner and I are looking to buy a couple of properties for that. I'd say my name's Edwin, but like simple. And now it's like, well, what do you want? Now you got to remember, this is not New Yorkers. These are just Americans and just people in general, mostly Americans though. I'll be honest with you. I've been around the world. I could tell you Americans are the most like this, but Americans always care about themselves and pretty much only them. Most people around the world are like this. And I say this a lot too, but like generally people don't care about you. They only care about themselves. That's okay. That's not a problem, but I'll let you know this. And so what I mean is people legitimately only care about how do I benefit from this phone call? That is what most sellers, when you pick up the phone, they legitimately care about themselves. Like for most of you guys, like you generally don't care how I'm doing or like what's going on. How can Zach get me rich? And that's not a problem. That's why you love and support me because I'm giving it to you for free. But that is just a true statement. Now, the thing about that is most sellers, what is this call benefiting me on? Well, I can go buy your house, right? Simple as that. But you just got to at least know how to answer that, know where they're coming from. So who is this? Again, this is Zach. Me and my partner are looking to buy a couple properties in the area for cash. And what do you want? I'm looking to buy some houses in the area. Are you interested in selling it? And the question always gets thrown back to, are you interested in selling that property? Simple as that. Again, one of my favorite objections is, what's your offer? What? Oh my, you guys seen some live coaching channel where I call someone and they snap back. What's your offer? What's your offer? I had a guy once give me 4 what's your offers. What's your offer? What's your offer? What's your offer? What's your offer? Oh, I legit, I cannot, I have to stop laughing thinking about it. It's just so funny, but it's true. You're going to get this. And if you do, these people are trying to throw you off your game so hard, but some of them are they're just, hey, they're from Nassau County. They can't help it. That's just who they are. It's in their DNA. And so the thing about it is they do want to sell the property. They want to be motivated. So they just might be, busting your chops here. So how do you deal with this? Okay. Well, if somebody asks you, what's your offer? It's like, okay, great. Like, I would love to give you an offer, but I need to know more about the property because I just can't give you a blind offer. And I'm a man of my word. So when I give you an offer, I stick to the offer. I'm not going to move on it. But if I don't even know the condition of the property or if I have to replace the roof or like, I don't know if I can give you a legitimate offer. Then you go, and then boom, they go back to the condition. It's an easy transition. But nobody who's legitimately looking to actually be a real buyer says, oh, I don't care about the roof. I don't care about if it's got a good condition or bad. I don't care if the foundation's crumbling. It's like, well, that's not a real buyer. We got a Porsche 911 GT3 RS. That's about a $245,000 car all specced out. Maybe you got turbo or not. Thing drives like a dream. Now, if you are looking to buy a nice car, are you going to say, I don't care about the gas mileage. I don't care about it. It's got 100,000 miles. It's got 500 miles. I don't care. I'm just going to buy it for the price. You would never do that. You never do that. Is there a warranty on the car? Like, you're going to ask questions like a real buyer. The funniest thing I get people say, Zach, don't ask about the condition. I'm like, what? Who is teaching you this nonsense? It's hilarious to me. But yeah, no, you got to ask about the property. And so I always spin it back on them, what's your offer? Well, I would love to give you an offer, but I would still need to go out here and see the property. Now, we also use something called the car analogy. Now, again, that is kind of why we have a car behind me. The reason why we have a car behind me is because I like using the car analogy. Now, if you are in-person wholesaling, not virtual wholesaling, the car analogy is one of the best analogies. What's your offer? What's your offer? What's your offer? Hey, I would love to give you an offer on your property, but I still need to go see it first. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, have you ever bought a car? They're like, yeah. Again, this is a pattern interrupt. Remember? They're like, what's your offer? What's your offer? What's your offer? Hey, I'd love to give you an offer right now. Okay, yeah. Let me just ask you a question. Okay. Offer. Have you ever bought a car before? Yeah, I bought a car before. Now it's pattern interrupt again. Well, when you bought the car, did you test drive the car? Yeah. Well, kind of like that, I need to go test drive the house. It's kind of a joke, but like, I want to go see the house. Like, I want to go look at it and just make sure it's a right fit for me to own. Like, I'm not going to buy a house sight unseen. That's kind of crazy. And if you're virtual wholesaling, do not do this. Do not do this. But if you're locally doing this, it's a great analogy. So think about the car analogy. Okay. Really simple, easy to go. And don't pull up in a Porsche to an appointment. That's a really bad idea. Okay. So really, I know some people have done that. Ugh, not good. But again, how much are you offering? It's very, very, very easy to get over that objection. Now, again, once you get through the objection, they want to sell the property. They say yes. You want to go through, again, the 4 questions just to qualify the seller, right? Number 1, motivation. You want to ask the seller, why are they looking to sell the property, right? Number 2, the condition. Can you tell me a little bit more about the property? Can you tell me about the roof, AC, any repairs can be done on the property? Don't be like too crazy about this. 2 or 3 questions. You don't have to go nuts on this, right? Because if you have to physically see it or see pictures, you go from there, right? Again, time frame. When are you looking to sell the property, Mr. Seller? And lastly, price. What's a ballpark range you're looking to sell the property for, right? I'm telling you right now, don't get too stuck on price if you're physically seeing them at the property. And if the motivation's good, we can always negotiate the price down. The thing that my framework of mind is you can always change the price, right? You can always bring it from up to down. You can never change motivation from down to up or condition, right? So that's why motivation is the most important part here. Now, once I say yes, once I seem qualified enough, you are just going to tell the seller you will look up the property and you'll look at the information and bring it to your partner. And we should call you back tomorrow and let you know about a time that we can come by and see the property or more about the house. That's it. As simple as that. A lot of people think you go one call, one close. And if it's like a qualified seller or something like that, then sure. But for most people, no. Like you're just calling for virtual or in person. Like you want to go back, you want to go like look at the house a little more, kind of get a rough MAO or something like that, and then try to close them after that. Or you go meet and then you set the appointment and you're good to go, right? Simple as that, right? So put the lead in the CRM, you'll be good to go. Now, what separates a good cold caller from a bad cold caller? Confidence. Simple as that. Like that is it. Confidence. Now, what is the definition of confidence? Does anybody here know my definition of confidence? I have a very, very easy and clear definition of confidence. I want somebody in the comments to tell me. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to have them type it out for me. Just to show how well do we know confidence. I want to see if you're confident or not too. Good cold callers and bad cold callers, the difference is confidence. Simple as that. So let's see what you got. Let's see. Okay, so someone says confidence is be willing to fail forward. No. Get rich or die trying. No. Now, Jelson not being a weenie, honestly, that's kind of good, but Jelson got the right, a belief in what you say. So that's pretty much as close as you're going to get. And so confidence is basically a belief in what you say and what you do. And more specifically, my definition of confidence is the belief in the words you say and the things you do. That is my definition of confidence. The thing is, if you say you're going to do something and you don't you don't legitimately believe it, you're not going to sound good. So, for example, again, I love using examples because I think it's a great teaching method and it just helps me understand the life and the world better. But it's like if I'm a parachute instructor and somebody asks me, hey, is this parachute, it's pretty safe, right? I jump out, the parachute's going to work. They're like, yeah, it should work. You're going to be like, what? Whereas if I say, oh yeah, it definitely will work. I believe in my words better. And it's like, yeah, versus, yeah. Two different ways I went around the city. One confident, one non-confident. It all comes from understanding and believing in what you say. So when you go to a seller and you say, hey, are you in the property or are you interested in selling it? If I'm nervous, I'm saying, is this the owner? Because you're scared that somebody's going to say something that you can't answer the objection for. And then you're done. You're scared someone's going to yell at you, scream at you. And if you're confident, like you believe in the words you say, some people believe that I'm not really a cash buyer. I'm faking it. I'm lying. A lot of people think that. It's hilarious to me. It's like you and your partner can buy the house, you and the buyer. Like, duh. It's hilarious to me. So how do we gain this confidence, belief, right? Again, you got to get the reps in. The more reps you do, you automatically gain that belief because you've done it so many times. You believe it'll happen. So, for example, do you get into a car? We have a car, right? Do you get in a car and you shake and feel like, oh my gosh, I might get in an accident today? No. You know why? Because you got in a car, you put the keys in, you jumped out, you've done this 50,000 times. So you think on the 50,000th and one time, the 51st thousandth time, most likely you're not going to be getting in a life or death altercation in the car because you've done it 50,000. So you have complete confidence in that ability. When you go on a plane, some people have this deathly fear of getting on a plane because they think it's going to crash. And the thing is, I know some people. Does anybody here know anyone like that? Like they won't go on planes because they're too scared to go on a plane. in their brain, they physically can't do it. There's some people I know that are like that. I promise you, if I handcuff a person who is deathly afraid of flying on a plane, I put a handcuff on them onto the airplane seat, and I handcuff them, and I make them do 100 cross-country flights. Okay, handcuff them. They can't move. They got to. They're restrained. And I made them do 100 flights. Do you think on the 101st flight, so the 100th flight, that they're going to be as scared as the first time? No. They're going to be like 80% less fearful. And they're probably going to want a bag of peanuts. I'm telling you. It's true. That Biscoff's amazing on the planes. I don't know what they got in that Biscoff, but give me a pound of that stuff. So the thing is, why did that fear go away? It's because, I've done it so many times that the worst case scenario isn't that bad. And a lot of people fear planes. They don't understand that for every, it's actually safer than being in a car. It's crazy. It's insane. If you look at the crash rate, guys, there's more crashes in your county. In your city tonight, there will be more crashes than plane crashes the entire year. In your own city, there's going to be more fatal crashes, most likely tonight. God forbid. But there are going to be more fatal crashes in your city tonight than there is plane crashes in the entire year. Not fatal. And people still, but if you do 100 flights, you're going to be way less fearful. Same thing with cold calling. You might have this fear of calling, but I promise you, you just do enough of it, the fear is going to go away. Again, you got to know these two questions. And these are questions to ask yourself. Who you are and what do you want? My name is Zach. My name, Edwin here. My name's Edwin. I'm looking to buy a partner. My name's Edwin. I'm looking to buy properties in the area with my partner. Simple as that, right? I can't say I can't even lie correctly. I can't say my name's Edwin. It doesn't flow well with me, right? Zach, Zachary. I can use Rick sometimes, right? Hey, I'm Steve. Me and my partner, we're looking to buy properties in the area for cash. And when I start lying, I don't sound good. So, know who you are and what you want. Done. What do you want? I'm looking to buy houses in the area for cash. Again, having good buyers list is good. It might give you that peace of mind in the end that you have someone to buy the house at the end. That'll work too. And then know your script, know your objections. I think that's really, really important too. Know how to answer any objections you get in the scripts you say. Then having a belief in the ability to buy the house with the buyer. Simple as that. If you have that belief, you can get deals done. Now, it's really important, cold calling, to track your numbers. This is really essential here. But guys, know your calls you're making every single week. So you have to know the amount of calls you make per week. This is absolutely essential. If you do not know how many calls you're making per week, you're dead in the water. If you're not tracking your numbers, the way I look at it is if you're not tracking the score on the football game or the basketball game, you're not going to know who's going to win. If you ain't tracking the stats, you ain't going to know who's winning. So know your calls per week. You got to know what you're doing is actually pushing the needle for you getting deals or not getting deals, right? Again, you have to know also your contact rate. When I do one-on-ones and I talk to people who are not getting deals cold calling, the question that I always ask them is like, okay, well, what's your contact rate? They say, I don't know. Dude, if you were coming to me and and you're like, Zach, I'm getting no deals cold calling. And I say, okay, well, how many calls are you making? And what's your contact rate? Now, the reason I ask that is I don't know really anyone that's getting 1,000 calls in for the week at a 20% contact rate on government lists that isn't getting deals. I don't know anyone. I legit don't really know anyone that does that. So I'm going to ask you, you're not getting deals cold calling while you're doing at least 1,000 calls a week? And are you getting at least a 20% contact rate? I'm just asking. Just asking a question. And if you can't answer that, not good. Not good at all. So know your contact rate, pickups, calls. So that is just basically a ratio of how many people that pick up the phone and say hello versus how many calls you made. So if you call 1,000 people and 100 people picked up, that's a 10% contact rate. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Now you also want to know, and this is a smaller stat, but still an essential stat for everybody, but know your leads per call. And most importantly, your leads per contact. This is another very, very, very important part too. But know how many leads you have to send out to get a contact. Very, very, very important here. Now, on top of this too, you want to track per list. Now, what I mean by this is you want to see what your contact rate is per list, because maybe on probates, okay, maybe on probates, you're getting a 15% contact rate, and maybe on code violations, you're getting a 5. Well, why is that list not working, right? Important to know exactly why it's not working and why it is working. So track your list and go from there. Now, what are some of the most common issues with cold calling? Well, it's pretty simple. I'll answer it really quick and easy here. What are the most common issues with cold calling that I've seen? Again, a lot of people have what we call low contact rates, which basically means that for every 100 calls, maybe 5 people pick up, which is dial, dial, dial. Nobody answers, Zach. Well, this most likely is because you have really bad skip tracing, and or you have a really bad phone number. Sometimes both, sometimes one. It's kind of all over the board here. Now, if you're popping up scam likely or spam likely, probably because you got to buy a new phone number, and you go from there. Then you got to go out here and buy a new phone number, right? On top of that too, you can double tap your calls. Now, this is one of the best ways to increase your contact rate. And this is basically when you go out here and before you call somebody, you text them. Now, for iPhones and Androids, I know this works really good for iPhones, but if you text, hey, this is Zach, I'm going to call you back in a second, and then you call them, it's not going to say the phone number or spam likely. It's going to say maybe Zach. Have you guys ever got that? Let me know. Have you guys ever got that? Then you kind of have your name on the contact. People are going to pick up even more. So it's called the double tap. Again, text somebody your name. Hey, this is Zach. I'm going to call you in a second, and then call them. You're instantly going to get more calls. You also double tap your calls, which means if you call the lead twice, they're going to pick up. They're like, wow, this guy's called me twice. Wow. That'll get more pickups too. That's mostly for leads that don't pick up. Just call them twice. It works really well, but it's a great way to increase the amount of people picking up. Now, low calls made. Now, this is probably one of the biggest killers and issues I have, just people who are not calling enough leads. Well, I'll give you the honest truth. If you're not calling enough leads, you have a lack of motivation. Like, I'm not getting the mindset today of wholesaling, but like, why are you being a sucker? Why are you being an absolute loser in wholesaling? Like, why are you staying broke by not making enough calls? What in your life are you just pouring in money? Like, why are you being a lazy bum? Like, you were not put on earth. You were not given life to just go live paycheck to paycheck. You're here to thrive. You're here to be fruitful in your life and give to just not you, but your family. And God, I'm not getting in a whole motivational rant here, but like, I'll tell you this. If you're watching this and you tell yourself, I just have a really hard time making calls. I'm like, oh, is that what we're going to say to your mom when she's 74 years old and she still has to clock into work every day? You can't retire her because you just don't feel like it? You're not going to give your kids Christmas presents this year because dad's a lazy bum? Like, thinking of that should light a fire in you so hard that you can't get off the phone. Just telling you. Gotta get to work. Don't be a lazy bum. Guys, go out here and make a name for yourself. This is so important. On top of two, if you're still popping up spam likely on a dialer, one of the common issues I see here is your length per call is way too low. It's insane. It's really bad. Your length per call is just way too low, and we need to fix this, okay? So one thing I'll tell everyone is you need to be around a 15%. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Now, the thing is, if your length per call is way too low, then you need to go out here and increase it about 25, probably 20 seconds, I'd say. So this new 10 DLC and how the stir shaken works with cold calling, especially with the dialer, is if your average length per call is 5 seconds, the carriers will actually know that. It's actually a real thing. It's actually really scary. And what I mean by this is if your average length per call is like 5 seconds, you're automatically, any phone number that you have is going to be scam likely. Now, what you do is you just have to have longer calls. So if you have something like, if you have something like, hey, is this the owner? Are you interested? It might be 5-10 seconds, but maybe on people who are looking to sell their property, that's like a minute phone call. That'll help your averages up. But I think a lot of people really, really struggle with spam likely, and they think they're doing everything right, but their average call length is really, really low. Mostly people on a dialer who say something like, "Are you interested in selling your property?" I mean, it's gonna be 3 seconds, and then everything's scam likely. So you want to be very that, but length per call is really important. Now, I'm gonna give everybody right here 3 cold calling systems. Okay, I'm gonna give you a free system and a triple line dialer system. Now, can anybody tell me? I want to know in the comments. Guess in the comments before I tell you, how much do you think the free system is going to cost? I mean, free costs $0. How much do you think a cheap system is going to cost per month? And how many do you think a triple line system is going to cost for software, dialer, phone, skip tracing, everything? I'm generally curious what people think these systems cost. Obviously, not with the free systems, but 3 systems: a free system, a cheap system, and a triple line dialer system. How much is that going to cost per month? Very curious what you guys think. Because I get a lot of people think it's going to be $5,000 a month. Some people think it's $20 a month. What do you guys think these systems are going to cost? If you want to call pretty much unlimited people, how much are these systems going to cost, right? And we're going to break down how that works, including phone numbers, everything like that, all this stuff. Okay, so let's break this all down. Again, free cold call system. All right, a free cold calling system is going to cost no money. Duh. But you should be using Google Voice. Now, on top of that too, you should be using a Google Voice. What I mean by this is Google Voice actually has something called a Google Voice Chrome extension, which means when there's any phone number online, you can click a button and call it. So it's actually, I'm going to drop that video right now in the comments, but it's pretty cool. It's actually a X-Leads video, but you can use it for free. Here we go. Where is it? Okay, it's right here. But I'm going to drop in the comments for everybody. But basically, you can do a Google Voice Chrome extension, and it's really cool. So look up Google Voice Chrome extension, add that in. A couple settings we got to go set up on. But pretty much, if you go to True People Search, you can do a click to calls Google Voice. It's absolutely a game changer in wholesaling. It's really cool. It's absolutely free. So Google Voice Dialer with the extension is really cool. Now, next here, we're going to use government lists from freewholesaling.com. Use ChatGPT basically to harvest the list and organize it. Some people they get like a code validation list and it's like a PDF. You can upload the PDF into AI and it'll transpose it and then turn it into a CSV file. It's really crazy. So it works really good. I get a lot of people that go pull the probate list. I had a guy, I think on Sunday, who had that issue where he was going out here and he had like a list of like 100 probates and he didn't have the zips. I said, just go upload that list into Gemini AI and the zips will pop up. It's pretty dang cool. Ryan the Excel, this is live. This is not a recording, by the way. I like when people say this is a recording and then I go answer their question live. Guys, I don't fake my live streams. A couple of people fake their live streams. I don't fake my live streams. FYI. But okay, I'm telling you, you can use AI, harvest the data. You'll be good to go. All right. Now, cyberbackgroundchecks.com is we're going to use for a free skip tracing. Again, it's free. I don't know what else I can tell you here. It's absolutely free. So yeah, it's pretty dang cool. Now, Google Sheets, we're going to use that for the tracking of the KPIs and for the calls. So you can track all your information on the KPIs. So calls made, contact rates, things like that, and then track how many calls you're making. And then for a CRM, we're going to use Podio CRM. It's free for 300 contacts. So I think it's pretty much the best CRM, which costs $0. Go use that. Now, for cheap cold calling, this one's going to be this is the cheapest system if you want to make a ton of calls on like an auto. So this is X-Leads pretty much. Now, I'd let everyone know this all has X-Leads in it because X-Leads is the only software, so it makes it the cheapest. You can use other systems or cost. So let's break this all down, okay? Now, X-Leads and Dialer, it'll probably cost you around $65 a month if you're doing like 30 hours a week of calling. If you bump that up, it'll be $89 a month if you want unlimited. But for the cheapest, it's probably $65 a month for like 30 hours a week of calling, which most people, it's all you really need. Then from there, you're going to have to buy 5 phone numbers. On Ninja mode, it's going to cost $1.15 each per phone number. Maybe it's $1.21 depending, but I mean, that's pretty cheap. Most phones. Oh, it says my mic's cutting in and out. Hold on. Is a hello, hello, hello. What did he do? Should be working. Hold on. There we go. Hello. All right. All right, it's working. I think everyone can hear me. Okay, I think I'm gonna keep going unless you guys can't hear me. But oh, it is cutting out. All right, let me just unplug this really quick. Let's get this going. Why is the audio not working? There you go. All right. Alrighty. There you go. Oh, it's getting static. Uh-oh. Hello, hello. Is this better? Fair work, we're just getting a new mic. Hello. I'm gonna make sure this is. I'm gonna keep talking unless people say there's a problem. There's a problem. I just get like 2 more mics back there. So we working? All right. I'm gonna assume it works. All right, whatever. Okay. Gonna buy at least 5 phone numbers. Now, the reason why you want to buy 5 phone numbers is that's pretty much a good rate where you don't get spam likely all the time. So it's very important. Now, on top of that too, government list and X leads list. Those are the 2 you want to be doing. Now, government lists absolutely for free, and then get some good lists on there on X leads, maybe the vacants, absentee, stuff like that. Pretty much good to go, right? Now, you're going to use X leads for Skiptracing. Again, you get 15,000 for 49 bucks a month. So again, it's pretty cheap and easy. And then use Google Sheets to go track your KPIs, and then Ninja Mode for your CRMs. And you can do your lead CRM KPIs in Ninja Mode too. So it'll work pretty well. So if you pay for the annual plan on X Leads, I think it's it comes out to like $120 a month, which is insane. And then like $168 a month if you want to do the monthly X Leads. So I think monthly is $97 a month on X Leads. So that's pretty dang good. I mean, you're only paying an extra $77, $78 a month with the dialer. So it's like $77 for a dialer system. I think it's pretty dang good. So $168 a month for a system like this. Again, you can use other dialers. You can use other softwares. You can use other Skiptracing. It will probably cost you double to triple that. So that's why I'm just saying that. So $120 a month is pretty dang good. I don't know any better one. Now, if you're doing a more expensive triple line system for cold calling, you can do it. And you're going to use the Wave dialer instead of Ninja Mode. So that's triple line unlimited, $150 a month. You're going to buy at least 20 phone numbers. They'll cost you around $23 a month. You got to remember, most phone numbers cost like $10, $15 a month with other dialers. This one's only $120, $115. You're going to use government list and X leads list. Probably more high equities though, to be honest. You're going to use X leads Skiptracing, Google Sheets, Ninja Mode CRM, and they'll cost you around $222 a month for the annual or $270 for the monthly. So I really don't think you can go wrong with either one. Definitely have to do which one you want to do. That's a great system, right? Now, if you have no money, I would say just use the free system. Simple. Now, if you have more money and you don't have a lot of time, I would probably use the cheap system or the triple line dialer. I'm getting that triple tap. Now, this I have to say this, and I think this is the first time you're going to hear this about cold calling on the internet, but I'm kind of dubbing this. It's kind of funny, but actually, I got to help a troll out real quick. There you go, troll. All right, troll. I just put you on there, and then I am banning you. There you go, done. So you always control me all day. All right. So second chance leads. This is the first time I'm calling this second chance leads. Now, what are second chance leads? Now, this is the first time you're ever going to hear this in cold calling because I'm the only one that ever like innovates in this space. But whatever. Me and Rick always come up with new things. Nobody else ever comes up with new things, which is quite funny. But okay, we're calling this second chance leads. Now, what a second chance lead is when I developed the version 2 of X Leads, I thought this would be a great way to get more deals, and it actually ended up doubling the amount of people we got in front of. So what's a second chance lead? Again, if you're cold calling and you're really good, like you're really, really good, you are getting a 25% contact rate. And that's if you're like just crushing it. Like you are the man. Like you are that guy. Okay. You are just destroying it out there. 75% of those, even if a 25% contact rate, 75% of those people do not pick up the phone. This is the craziest thing. They don't pick up the phone. 25% contact rate means you called 100 people, 25 picked up, 75 did not. So even if you're crushing it, 75% of the people did not pick up the phone. Most wholesalers for cold calling just say, oh, name of the game. And yeah, they're like, that's just name of the game. Whatever. What are you going to do about it? And the funniest thing about that is they just give up. Now, what I'm saying is you should give these leads a second chance. So I'm not saying to recall that because I think that'll be kind of a waste. But what you should do is text every lead that doesn't pick up. And I might be like, Zach, there's zero dialers out there that could even track that information. My fancy, crazy system doesn't even track that. Well, yeah, because they don't care. They're not wholesalers. They're just software people, right? Well, what you should do is if you text back every person that didn't pick up, you're going to get on average a 20% response rate if you do a double whammy, which is my type of scripts at freewholesaling.com. You really try to get them to actually like call you back, or text you back, like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? Kind of like you throw them off really good. I have a really, really advanced texting system and a really, really good script. I call it my double whammy script because you kind of punch the seller in the text. You always get a response right back, and you can kind of hack Twilio in a sense how it works. It's pretty cool. But 20% response rate, that means if you get a 20% response rate on 75%, that's a 15% more calls you're going to get. So that means if you do something like that, you're going to get in front of not 25% of sellers on the list, but you're going to get in front of 40%. Think of that for a second. So if you had a list of 100 probates, Joe Schmo is going to get in front of 25 of the probates. And if you call, you'll get in front of 25 probates. Thing is, if you do a second chance system where you text them and call, you're getting in front of 40% of the leads. You're going to get in front of 40 sellers, not just 25. So how do you do this? Well, if you use the X Leads Ninja mode, I feel like the X Leads commercial, but like it's the cheapest way to do it. It's the best. So whatever. And I'm waiting for other dialers to go follow my suit. They always copy me. So I had this other software. They copy the wholesale. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. But basically, inside the dialer, if you press no answer, the dialer automatically texts the seller. Think about that for a second. Xleads is the only dialer that does this. And I had to make a data software. We had to go get the Skiptracing. We had to go get a texting system, a dialing system, AI systems. And we all put it into one and connected it all. And the funniest thing about it is it's the only dialer out here that I know in wholesaling that automatically, if they do not answer the phone, you automatically give them a text. It's pretty cool. So we call it the second chance leads. It's pretty cool. Then you get in front of them and get the deals. So now it is time for you to take action. Guys, I don't care if you have no money. I don't care if you are broke, not broke, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You just need to call. Start cold calling. My favorite thing about cold calling that no one talks about either is you also, the more calls you make, the better you get at talking to sellers, the more skillful you get, the better you are at your reaction times, answering objections and just getting in front. You'll be a better closer by being better at cold calling. So that's a really, really powerful thing too. So cold calling is the best type of marketing out there, and show you how to do it. If you have no money or some money at all, get started using cold calling for wholesaling real estate deals. Guys, all these companies are now going back into cold calling. All the PPL companies are now cold calling like crazy. So they're actually they're probably bigger competition than me now, my cold calling in my local market than myself, which is hilarious to me. And I think we're going to get a lot of cold callers coming in 2025. So I think this is one of your last like big chances to really go hard into cold calling before all the PPL companies do it. Because the PPL companies can't make any money on Facebook ads or anything else anymore. They have to make it cold calling. And yeah, so that's why I think you guys should go all in on it. And yeah, it puts the PPL companies out of business and it makes you cold call yourself, which is pretty cool. So if you're brand new, again, join a free wholesale course and community, freewholesaling.com. I'm always in there, always giving value in there. And the community is always in there. We got a free Discord, zachdiscord.com. We are proud to announce that by tonight, we're going to be the largest wholesaling Discord in the country. So it's the #1 real estate community. So It's pretty exciting. So I want to say thank you to everybody for supporting us in the Discord. We are now the largest wholesaling Discord there. It only took 3 months. No, it only took, I think, 6 months. I think it only took 6 or 7 months, but largest Discord in the country for wholesaling. So that's pretty dang cool. We're the largest wholesaling course and largest wholesaling community out there too. So guys, it means the world to me, all the blessings you give. Again, you need to go check out the best software, go to xleads.com. And if you have questions, please let me know. We got Silva says, what's a good book for wholesaling? Guys, the best wholesalers ain't writing books, bro. And the problem is because the information changes all day. And if you want to demo an XLeads, there's an XLeads YouTube channel. I would go there. This is not an XLeads YouTube channel, and we're not going to go make this XLeads commercial. So, yeah, guys, if you want to go out here and start getting rich wholesaling real estate and just be in a community with other successful wholesalers, freewholesaling.com is right there. And like always, smash that like button, subscribe, start wholesaling real estate, and we'll see you soon. Guys, this is Zach Ginn signing out. Have a blessed one.